Shalom, la b'chayarim, shal yashala. Peace be to the elect of the nation of Israel. The 144,000 Hanabiyayim, the prophets, which are all men, and the rest of the multitude of the 1/3, which are the men, women, and children, which are believers in the words of the Lord, which will come by the way of the prophets, which are the mouthpiece of the Lord, which the Lord's name is Yahweh, the Most High, and His only begotten Son's name is Yahweh Shai. Call Allah Iblah, Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rechakodash, all praises to overpower the power of Israel, which His name is Yahweh, which means He is a He, to be or He exists. Ba'Shem is in the name, Yahweh Shai is the Son of the Most High, which in the Hebrew means He the deliverer, who will deliver the elect of Israel out of this captivity in His second coming. Ba'Hashem Kodash is in the name of the Holy Spirit, which we come in the Holy Spirit. Alright? Of course, I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who well, Shin Kabbalah, Shalayachim Noah, was a Konim Noah, Shal Yasha'ala. Kadwala Rakab Ba'ith, which I gave double honors to our apostles and our elders of Israel, which are a great millstone in these times. And of course, Shalom wa Chesed, peace and mercy, La B'chayarim, to the election, Yashala, of Israel. Shemya Mappa, Mayan Gadwala Rakab Machana. My name is Amapa from the Great Millstone camp in Philadelphia, and being Plaintables camp in Philadelphia. Coming again with another Lamadim, or a little lesson, the Ma'amaf of truth, which this is all just through the Spirit. It says here in this headline, which was published on the 28th of November 2019, year Chagma, which reads here, U.S. is heated for economic disaster worse than 2018. Peter Schiff, or Schiff, I believe his name is pronounced, it tells Boom Bus. It says U.S. President Donald Trump said a deal between Washington and Beijing, which Beijing represents, I believe, China, is more likely following a phone call between negotiators of both countries. So on Tuesday, RT's Boom Bus brings Peter Schiff in of the Euro-Pacific capital to talk about the possibility of reaching preliminary deal on a trade war that has been dragged for 16 months. I don't think that's what's that, over a year. 12 months is a year, and you add a couple other months. Okay, 4 other months. It says, I don't think that Trump is trying to make a deal. The veteran broker says, explaining Trump just wants the stock market to go up. As long as the stock market is going up, he couldn't care less about a deal with China. Schiff continues, suggesting that if the stock market started to tank, he might feel some type of pressure to actually deliver on a deal. Schiff points out that money printing will continue as far as I could see, and that's what is driving stocks, and will continue driving stocks until something causes to change. We know that these different you have it that they of course, the Federal Reserve being a private entity, which of course is what I believe the Federal Reserve is the central bank that issues out the currency to America, Babylon the Great, and isn't it being the actual currency, isn't it backed by any intrinsic value such as gold or silver. So what you have is a different debt notes and such, which really is backed by what? Petrodollar, which is oil. Okay, Shaman. And continue forward. It says another problem, according to Schiff, is that American consumer is deep in debt. So your American consumer is deep in debt, and I have done many lessons about it, and of course other acumen brethren done lessons about it. The one article I did, which it speaks about let me see if this is there's this one I did, it was speaking about every American being about at least $80,000 in debt, from their birth. Let me see if I can find it just in a Google search. Okay. This isn't what I wanted, but yeah, this was back in 2018. And I can, of course, go on the actual U.S. debt clock, and it'll pretty much give you the answer. But it speaks here. This is published back in 2018. How much debt Americans have at every age: credit card debts, the student loans, mortgages, car loans, personal loans. Most Americans have a combination of sources of debt, and despite the best intentions, Americans are digging themselves deeper into a hole each year. The average American now has about 30, that's right here, as of that time, $38,000 in personal debt, excluding home mortgages. That's up $1,000 from a year ago. So obviously that would increase because it's 2019. Which also reports, this is Northeastern Mutual 2018 progress study, reports that fewer people said they carry no debt this year compared to 2017, which you had 23% versus 27%. Despite recognizing that debt is dangerous water, Americans are jumping in both feet and struggling to stay afloat. And Emily Holbrook, director of planning of Northeastern Mutual, credit card and mortgage is tied as a lending source of debt, followed by student loans and car loans, according to the study. And the findings are based on surveys of over 2,000 U.S. adults, including oversampling of more than 600 millennials. So you have it here. They got a LED diagram here, and based upon the different age groups, Generation Z, which is younger millennials, aged 18 to 24, 22,000. Okay. It says for the ages 18 to 24, it's no surprise that student loans are the highest source of debt at 28%, followed by credit card balances. You have many of these people go to college, which is nothing but a scam to get you into debt. And then you have it when you come out of college or university, and they're able to find the actual job in the field in which you have studied. Okay, and then on top of that, you have it where you have these different credit cards issued to you, to try to keep you afloat, because at that same time you got to be able to sustain yourself within college. So most of the students, they have credit cards, and then the credit cards lead more debt, right? So it says here, at least experts consider student loans to be good debt. That's because they are typically low cost and may have tax advantages, but you get a tax rebate. Meanwhile, credit card debt is almost always bad debt because it has much higher interest rates. And it's crazy because that's the first thing that they want you to get, this being a credit based system. They want you to get credit card to build up your credit and such, but really it's almost a bad debt. Okay, I gave you that reason. That's why me, for the most part, I avoid it having a credit card my entire life. I've never seen it as something for me to get. Because first of all, we don't have a continuous city, and you can get credit cards if you, of course, use the word and not abuse it. But for the most part, if I don't have the money for something, I'm not going to take a loan to get it. All right, I'll just work myself and for myself, and then buy it. Okay, simple as that. We pretty much live minimalist lifestyles. Okay, so. It says when it comes to student loans, don't take out more in total than you believe you will make with your first year salary. Yeah, but with most people, they don't even get a good job, all right, a good salary. Okay, so they're working these basic service jobs, retail sectors and such, janitorial type jobs, and their salaries are less than 18,000 a year and such. Okay, that was another thing. Most of Americans are just are working these basic jobs, and the wages are just so low. Okay, it says older millennials, $42,000. Okay. Older millennials, which are the ages of 25 to 34, among older millennials, credit card balances are a leading source of debt, making up for the average older millennials. Student debt accounts for 16%, while mortgages up to 3%. As you grow older, your expenses increases, right? And your wages, isn't it? All right, for the most part. Okay, you have many of the jobs are diminishing here, and many people who have thought they had security within a warehouse or manufacturing sector job. Okay, even you have it so many different the different stores, they've been going out of sale or out of business and stuff. Okay, I've just seen, I believe, AC Moore, which is it's an arts and crafts. It's either I believe it's either AC Moore. I believe they may have been acquired. I can look it up. AC Moore, if they were acquired by Michaels, which is another arts and crafts store. See, so you have it here. This is news. AC Moore going out of business. Will close 145 stores. Right. This was published 2 days ago, which it tells you that. Look at it. AC Moore. You see it in the background. And you have Michaels right there. It says AC Moore will shutter all arts and crafts stores announced this week. New Jersey-based retailer will close its more than 145 stores, which are largely scattered across the East Coast. Its parent company, Nicole Crafts, announced Monday the larger craft chain Michaels will take over the leases for as many as 40 of them. It says AC Moore CEO Anthony Pipperino linked the shutdowns to the industry broader struggles. The department store chains Kohl's and Macy's recently reported weak sales number. So you see all the different department stores, they're going down, okay? Amid stiff competition and online retail behemoths such as Amazon, unfortunately giving the heat wings facing many retailers in today's environment. It made it difficult for us to operate and compete on national level. ACB Moore did not give immediate timeline for the store closings, but much more in detail will be announced in the coming weeks. The company also plans to stop accepting online orders as of Monday. Right, so, and that's most people buy online these days. So these places are through, okay? Now, many of these places, they filing bankruptcy and hoping that other wrestling groups take over, and they, of course, failed too. So, this place, Steve Jobs, this place is through. America is through. All right, that's the point. It says here, going on, it says another problem, according to Schiff, is that American consumers deep in debt, and the only reason he could spend because the Fed is keeping rates low enough. I believe that's referring to interest rate. He explains that credit continues to flow despite the lack of legitimate savings to finance it. So the whole house of cards is going to come tumbling down, and the consumer is going to be right in the center of that. All these factors combined mean that the U.S. is heading for an economic disaster than we had in 2008, according to Schiff. Alright, so this is some of the things. What's going about. And let's see, I'll give you some headlines off of Money GPS as well, and I'll bring you some other things too. I believe Money GPS just put a recent video, and I believe 45 minutes ago. It's currently 3 in the morning. It reads here: Fed admits printing money to buy debt ends in economic ruin. Right? So when you print money to buy debt, it ends in, it obviously isn't that good. Economic ruin, the household management, the economy. Right? You have here U.S. consumer keep U.S. economy afloat, but debt is maxed out. Can the Fed save them? Right? Could the Federal Reserve save them? Okay. Most of these Jake out here that's paying and continue to spend money. Okay, you got look at all the different ones. Wealthy prepare for 2020 recession. Nearly half, this is one of the things I quoted too, nearly half of U.S. workers are low wage with an $18,000 salary. And this we're gonna go some more into some more information. Alright, so this is here, holiday sales may be missing in action. I'm sure mostly off a zero hedge. It says, are inundated with Black November, 70% off clearance email promotion, big ass liquidation, right? From the usual cast of brick and mortar online chain retailers, it started with my inbox in October. This was because retailers are terrified of what they could be one of the worst holiday spending seasons in years. And most people, they don't have money, but you still these different brick and mortar online chain retailers and such, they're still encouraging people to buy, but they don't have any saving. They don't have money. They just, more accumulating more debt to themselves. Okay, and the Fed is just continue to push more money into the economy. All right, which we're gonna go into some of the different terms and ways they're doing it. Okay, so it says the mainstream financial media, planted with sound bites from Wall Street snake oil salesmen, have already created this year's "the dog ate my homework" excuse for a poor holiday spending, with the absurd notion that the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is both wicked, is shorter this year. It says, quite frankly, I would not be surprised if many households use Amazon Prime Day and easy Amazon credit lines to offer to buy holiday gifts early this year. And speaking of Amazon, it's warned that it is expected holiday sales would be lower than the previous guidance. And Home Depot lowered its QE, which is quantitative easing, revenue estimates for a second time in 3 months. Alright, which this quantitative easing, okay, I have is quantitative easing, or QE, also known as large scale asset purchases, is monetary policy whereby a central bank buys predetermined amounts of government bonds or other financial assets in order to inject liquidity directly into the economy. Okay, you have it with the bonds, right? Is a finance bond. A bond, this is the definition. A bond is an instrument of indebtedness of a bond issuer to the holders. And the most common types of bonds are municipal bonds and corporate bonds. Okay, so you have it. Remember, we're not financial advisors, but we try to get, of course, a basic understanding on it. Okay, so here I'm gonna go into this here. Governments and central banks like there to be just enough growth in the economy, know much that could lead to inflation getting out of control, but not so little that there's stagnation. Their aim is so-called Goldilocks economy is not to help, but not to cool one of the main tools they have to control growth is raising and lowering interest rates. Lower interest rates encourage people or companies to spend money rather than save, right? Because you have the lower interest rates, that's less interest, which is usury. You have to go and pay back, okay? But when interest rates are almost zero, central banks need to adopt different tactics, such as pumping money directly into the financial system. And this process is known as quantitative easing, or QE. Alright? Now, just a quick precept, we'll get some quick precepts, the now. Alright. This is what Esau does, or Adawam. I always call him it. We know who he is. Proverbs 28. Alright, so it says here, this is yeah, this is let's see, I got Proverbs 28. There's something else. This is Isaiah 24:2. And it shall be as with people, so with the priest as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with his mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. All right, the precept I want is basically that the borrower is subject to the lender. Right, you're under the rule of the lender, and you're taking a different debt. They want their money back. All right, which leads you into a pit. Right, and when the scriptures tell you that thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, right, which we know the main characters are Jacob and Joshua or Esau in the scriptures, which we are the so-called niggas, Latinos, the Americans. We are the chosen. We are the Lord's chosen people. Adawam, all right. Esau in the scriptures is the wicked of today, which the elite bankers, they go back to Esau, Edom, their stock. All right. So it goes on. So if he applies, of course, the lost, he can't, like, it tell you, like, they say this is a God Christian country and all that, but they don't follow the law, statutes, commandments. They actually cast the word of Yahweh Shai behind them. It says, I'm gonna read it again. Deuteronomy 23:19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Usury, which is interest of money, or kasap, usury of victuals, fit, or anything that is lent upon usury. Okay. Now going, this other precept I wanted was here. Is Proverbs 28:8. It says, he that by usury and unjust gain increases his substance. Right? Unjust gain. Hey, he increases his substance. He gather it for him that will pity the poor, because you have to understand that there's going to be a transfer in of the kingdom or the rulership, which Esau Edom has right now. Okay. It's another scripture, the book of I believe it's going to be the book of Job, chapter 12. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Let's do the scripture. Do the spirit, chapter 12. This is the book of Job, chapter 12. And let's start at verse 6. It says, the tabernacles, right? The house, the dwellings and such. So tabernacles. A hall yum, okay, in Hebrew. Or tabernacles, the tent, okay. Home of habitation. Of robbers prosper, and they that provoke the power are secure. Into whose hand the Most High bringeth abundantly. Right? Going down. It reads in, I'm going to read verse 9. Who knoweth not in all these that the hand, the power, Yad of Yahweh hath wrought this? It says, doth not the ear try words, and the mouth tastes meat? Right? With the ancient is Chakamar, which the ancient is wisdom, and the length of days and days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength, and he hath counsel and understanding. Behold, this is the point. He breaketh down, and it cannot be built again. He shutteth up man, and there can be no opening. All right, so the Lord, he of course, he break up things when it cannot be built. And it tells you in the book of, and I believe that is Obadiah or Obadiah. It tells you that, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe actually, maybe in Malachi. Let me see if I can get that real quick. Malachi chapter 1 and 4. It says, we're in Edom, the one said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Of course, them coming out of what? Caucasus Mountains and such. And of course, coming and getting the rulership back in the Renaissance and such. And later setting up what? The different, or the NATO and the EU, America. And they have their beast system, okay, which is nothing but what? It's Rome, a Roman system. Alright. It says, thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. So the Lord is against the Adawamium, alright? Adawamium Ka, alright? You Edomites. So going back to this sort of article about the quantitative easing. How does it work? The central bank buy assets, usually government bonds, with money it has printed. Okay, what is that? Central bank, I believe that would be the Fed. With money it has printed, or more accurately, created electronically. Yeah, so it's just nothing but just out of thin air. Okay, because it's not backed by gold or silver. It says it then uses the money to buy bonds from investors such as banks or pension funds. Okay, and this increases the overall of usable funds in the financial system, making more money available. Is supposed to encourage financial institutions to lend more to businesses and individuals, right? So people goes on, and it pushed interest rates lower across the economy to household management, even when central bank owns rates are just as low as they can go. This turn should allow businesses to invest to consumers and to spend more, giving a knock-on boost to the economy. All right, so you have here the theory: central bank creates money, be the Fed, to buy bonds from financial institution. Number 3, which reduces interest rates, lending businesses and people borrow more because they're gonna see what them low interest rates, right? And it goes on. It says, so they spend more and create jobs to boost the economy. Here's the risk. The biggest concern is that pumping more money into the economy could ultimately lead to inflation problem, right? Which that you go into the currency being. Let me see. I'll just go into it. It says inflation, the action of inflating something or condition being inflated, and economics, a general increase in price and fall in purchasing value of money, right? So you have it where you're going to have a increase in prices, right? But the actual money, the value of money is going to lose its purchasing power, right? Because there's so much money that's been pumped into the economy and such, all right? But the value of the money is low, okay? So as you see, like you go over to Venezuela, some of the different countries, which their economies are pretty much have tanked, dude. You have it where many people got all their different banknotes, but they don't hold any value or nothing. Okay, you have it where a loaf of bread is a zillion, all they different. I forget what they do to what Venezuela's actual. I believe it might be with a B. Let me see. Their actual currency is called. Yeah, the Bolivar, right? Yeah, that's right. Just want to confirm. Yeah, so you have your inflation, and you have it with many people that they're a lot of the time they don't have much money. All right, so going back, it says when inflation is close to zero, as it is in the UK, in the eurozone at the moment. This is back, then. It says a bit more upward pressure on prices can be seen as a good thing, but some politicians and economists have opposed the idea of quantitative easing principle because they believe in the long run there's danger it could create too much inflation. Others argue that extra money has just bolstered the price of some assets and shares and property. Alright, so no, that's pretty much it for that with the quantitative easing. We're gonna go back to the zero hedge. It says here, and I'm gonna get some different other information. It tells you that 70. Keep in mind that a survey of more than 54,000 Americans by Financial Health Network revealed that 70% of households are struggling financially in some capacity. So you have all these people, they're sitting there spending all this money, which was pumped into the economy via the quantitative easing, but really these people are just the consumer is in debt, okay, which is crazy. It says in some capacity, it says 17% said they can't maintain the majority of all aspects of their finances. Another 54% said they're struggling at least one aspect of financial stability, like likely credit card or auto debt. And you have the auto industry is tanking too. That's another lesson for another time. You have it here. It says here, this is just, you can check this video off of Money GPS. 7 million Americans can't pay their car bills. Okay. And it's so much things that are telling you that this place is collapsing, and still people still listen to a lot of the people, such as your Donald Trump presidents, who are just feeding you lies that America is going to be great again. All right, when you really look into it, this place is going down. Okay, if the righteous, when it tell you when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn, and people are mourning. All right. And I'm going to get some other scriptures, and we're going to pretty much soon close off. It says that about 20% of the middle class workers are spending more than they earn. So you have it where people are actually spending more than their actual than they actually make. Okay? So that's just debt. Okay? Which is that's the whole American way, where people are literally showing off and flossing for vain reasons. Okay, people are buying all their different cars. Like me, from my perspective and such, I've seen these girls, these birds and such. These are years ago when I was in the world and such. I'm like, who this girl? She works at a Lowe's, but she got a car, this brand new car, and she's going on these all day different trips and such. okay, going to this place and that place, okay. She's going to their different event, this concert there, got different clothes and such. All right, when you end up finding out, most of the women, you go into the student loan debt, that's held mostly by women, okay, because it's really women that mostly are going to college. Say student loan debt, women stats. Let's see if I can find a stat off the top. Women are most likely than men to take on student loan debt. Why do women hold most of the nation's student loan debt? All right, let me see. All right, this is, women owe 2/3 of student loan debt. Okay, there you go right there. While students' loan debt impacts both men and women, women shoulder the greater burden, according to the study from the American Association of University of Women. Women owe more money and struggle to pay it off, and more making student loan debt serious women's issue, giving high levels of student loan stress, and it's no wonder that borrowers delay getting married, buying a home, and having children. Right? Well, really, that's a whole feminist ideology where you have it where the women are told to go to school and focus on their career, okay, while their fertility window, all right, is high and better off in their young youth and such. But of course, due to Esau Edom being wicked and lying to the women and such, they're under his influence. All right. By the time that they are out of college and such, they're in debt, and the fertility window is down, so they don't hit, as you have it in that whole MGTOW community. They call it. She has hit the wall and such. Okay. And she's looking for a man, all right, a so-called beta male, beta male provider, to so they can get married to her, and then of course you're in that contract. You're going to be taking her debt to her, while she's still going to cheat on you and get with other men. Okay, monkey branch to the next one, and next male, and on the D to D to D to D, hopping, riding that, as they say, the CC. All right, doing as one guy in the community, he said doing the monkey double backflips, as I just said, she's doing somersaults. All right, doing just to occupy time and take resources from the men. All right, so it's all they debt. So you have to look at the things and such. When women, you thinking she doing good, you gotta ask what is the debt to? What is your debt to the amount of income, your salary rate, or something like that? You gotta ask them the questions with these birds and such. Because you getting yourself, and we here at Great Millstone don't suggest men out there to get married in the Esau's way, okay? Meaning, which marriage means joining two, which that happens to the acts of sex. We're not telling you to get in that partnership, which is marriage under the system, okay? Because look what it's going to come with. It's nothing but a snare and a trap. Right? So you see, going into things, you get better understanding of it. And that's why, as the apostles and elders have said, many of the people out here in America having had all hell break loose here is mainly because people don't understand the financial system. Okay, so they're just going about, just normalcy and confused and such. All right, while you have all the other people that are in other countries such as Paris, France, and such, Chile and Hong Kong and all these other countries and such, they are in different insurrections within the streets. Okay. And also another thing, the stock market is not the economy. All right, the economy, simply put, is wealth of the country in terms of production and consumption of the goods and services. All right, the stock market and the economy are not generally mutually exclusive. The stock market is not the economy; rather, it is one data point that indicates how economy is doing and may perform during the world. All right, just so that you know. All right. That because many people think, oh, the stock market is just this. Well, that's just one value. All right. So let me see what else I wanted to get. Yeah, so going back, it says the study confirms that this should reinforce other studies I've shown similar results. Core retail sales, which are ex automobiles, gasoline, and petrol, increased 0.1%, which is worse than expected. When you can think about it, aside from the statistical errors in estimating the 16% of 25 categories of core retail sales or ex-inflation were negative. It looks like gasoline or petrol sales drove the headline number. Alright, basically things are going down. Alright, simple as that. Alright, as it says here, and this is fresh, do not mistake the rising stock market as an indicator that the economy is healthy. Right now, the largest component of economic activity at 70% of the gross domestic product is terminally ill financially. Okay? So, yeah. You Babylonians, American Babylonians, you're drunk. Alright? Let's say I'm get some other precepts. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and 7. It says here, be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth in that, whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And you have it that what Esau has done. It says here, verse 6, where he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall the Spirit reap life and everlasting. That's for the elect of Israel. Because the two-thirds there, they sow into the flesh, things that are carnal. Esau, Edom, he don't have salvation. The Hagawayim, the rest of the nation, they don't have salvation. So they just sow into the flesh. Alright? And their goods are going to be transferred onto us. As it tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, it tells you because of unrighteous dealings and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to the other. Roughly paraphrasing, which I'll read it. I thought, because this is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and 8, it says, because unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, they have stolen the wealth from the people. Okay, stolen the lands from the northern kingdom. Okay, so-called going into primarily here Seminole Indians and North American Indians, Gad and Raban. Alright, took over the Isles, took the Negroes, Southern Kingdom here to work here. Okay, conquered us, gave us different false nationalities other than what we are. Okay, which we were prophesied to do because we were wicked. We angered the Most High. That's why we in the state we in. It says the kingdom, which is the rulership, is translated from one people to another. It says, verse 9, and wise earth and ashes proud. There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, which is Esau, a greedy, as you can see, on everything. For such as one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth he casteth away his bowels. Alright. And another scripture is going to be in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. Or I could get James. Let me get James. real quick. And I didn't know this lesson was gonna be so long, but that's just the spirit. Gotta prophesy, kind of quench the spirit. All right, this is Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, the first verse. And it says, remember to know the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, while when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon and the stars be not darkened, or the clouds return after the rain. And the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the household managers, okay? The keepers of the house, right? Tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and grinders, its workers, cease because they are few, and those that look out the windies or the windows, be darkened, right? And you have the different economic, financial advisors. They're looking and seeing that this place has gone to shite, right? It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, the different vacant, as you see, vacant businesses at the time, or you have different properties where used to flourish or now come to not been diminished, okay, just to be what future concentration camps. It says when the sound of the grinding is low, right, you barely see the hustle and bustling of all the different businesses. Really, you just see literally rubbish scatter brought about of the older actual sales leaflets that they pass about, a bunch of leaves that's collected at that vacant building. All right, now I know because I deal with that things. It says here, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird in the morning, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And music is gonna shake. Lord Brum brought that down. It says also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and mourners go about the streets. All right. This is the book of James chapter 5, and that's it, my last pequod or precept. This is the book of James chapter 5 and 1. It says, go to know, ye rich men, woe, weep and howl, for your misery shall that. Let me read it again. James 5 and 1. Go to know, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. And ye shall eat your flesh as it with fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, Israelites, which is of you kept by fraud, crieth. Yeah, you have these people are crying, because they don't have enough money to sustain their living, but the cost of living continues to increase. But the wage and they're going up. You have it that people literally are so-called coming from retirement and working in these different grocery stores, and all they taking up jobs because they pensions kind of sustain themselves, okay? And those are drying up too. All right. It says, in the cries of them which have reaped have entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, or the Lord of armies, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, you know that when that a man, when he is curse you in his grief, the Lord hears him. Okay, so the Lord has heard, okay, the cries of the Israelites, the elect, and he's going to bring forth that recompense unto you Edomites. This is one last precept of the Spirit. This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 21 and 8, and it reads, he that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for a tomb of his burial. Alright? Which you have done so. So you just done it just to bring your destruction. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakodash. Double honors always to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who well. Peace and salutation to the elect. Stay up, stay occupied in prophecy because we are in the end. Alright, in the beginning phase of Yaquab Tazarah, which is Jacob trouble. And something defo big is going to happen. It's going to bring forth the major change. Bringing forth that RFID microchip being a mark of the beast being mandatory. Alright, because as you can see, this place is through. Shalom.